Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. On this video, I'm going to be comparing the Tethrd Phantom and the Cruzr XC saddle. So I first got into saddle hunting. I got the Tethrd Phantom and I spent about 2 years in this saddle and I really did like it, but I was just looking for a little bit more comfort. Don't get me wrong, the Phantom saddle is plenty comfortable and I have spent all day sitting in it before, but I was just looking for a little bit more and that's why I got the Cruzr XC. So one thing you gotta keep in mind is that we all come in different shapes and sizes, so each particular saddle will fit differently on everybody. So the ideal condition would be trying them all out and then figuring out what works best for you. So let's go ahead and take a look and compare these two saddles. So when we're taking a look at the prices, they're very similar in prices. The Phantom saddle comes in at $275 each, and the Cruzr XC is $260. So one thing to keep in mind is that the Phantom saddle comes in two sizes for waists up to 28 to 36 and 36 plus to 40-inch waistline. While the Cruzr XC on the other hand has three different sizes. They have 28 to 33, 34 to 38, and 38 to 42-inch waist. Now when you look at the weight, the Phantom saddle is a little bit lighter. It comes in at about 24 ounces, while the Cruzr XC comes in at 32 ounces. Both these saddles have very similar belt buckles. The Phantom is smaller, but is a little bit more difficult to release. If you have a lot of pressure on this belt buckle, you'll have to actually suck it in a little bit before you can get it to release. While on the other hand, the Cruzr XC releases very smoothly. Now moving on to the bridge, they are very similar for both these saddles. They both are AM steel, but I believe the Phantom has a new Dynalite material that they're running on their Phantoms now. So one thing different with the Phantom saddle is that it has these little grooves called the comfort channel on the bridge loops. So you're supposed to be able to change the bridge location on these comfort channels and adjust where the pressure is applied on the saddle. While using this saddle, one thing I noticed is that it doesn't really work very well for me. It's either way over the top or it takes only just a little bit of slack or a little bit of hard jerk for it to come out of the channel and back to the center. While on the other hand, the Cruzr XC just has a fixed bridge that is centered on the bridge loops. Now moving on to the leg strap, the Cruzr XC's leg straps are very similar to the belt buckle. It's just a little bit smaller. While on the other hand, the Phantom has these T-hooks, which are a lot quieter, a lot lighter, but they are a lot more difficult to loop in, especially in the dark. Now one thing different about these two saddles are the Molle loops. The Phantom saddle has Molle loops on the top and the bottom of the saddle, while the Cruzr XC has double rolls on the top. So on the Phantom saddle, the bottom Molle loops are never really ever used, but when you look at the Cruzr XC, I really enjoy having the double loops on top. It allows me to spread out my suspenders and my pouches, but still keep them in the same position. And one thing I did notice about the Molle loops is the Phantom saddle has really tight loops, so it's kind of a pain in the butt to put anything on there, but I suppose it does hold it on a lot tighter. While the Cruzr XC has looser Molle loops, which makes adding accessories a lot easier. So one of the main reasons I wanted to make the move from the Phantom to the Cruzr XC is I just wanted more comfort. And whenever I sat in that Phantom, I just felt like if there was just a little bit more material here, it would just be way more comfortable. And that's why I gave the Cruzr XC a try. So when you look at the Phantom saddle, it's about 10 inches tall and it doesn't really run all the way down your leg. While on the other hand, the Cruzr XC comes in about 14 inches, but also it has the expansion chamber that lets it extend way past up to 18 inches. But just a little bit of perspective here, the Cruzr XC I'm referencing is the size 2 and the Phantom saddle is the normal size. Another thing to keep in mind is that the Cruzr XC does have a lot more material, so that means it's a lot harder to walk in. I've noticed that when I take those big long hikes, it's almost better to leave the saddle off and then put it on at the tree. While on the other hand, the Phantom saddle, I can just walk for days in. So after using these saddles for the past few years, I just like the Cruzr XC way more. I just like that it's way more comfortable and it allows me to stay in the tree a lot longer. So one thing to keep in mind is Tethrd is an awesome company. They're always coming out with new innovative items for saddle hunters, and that's why you'll see my Cruzr XC all decked out with Tethrd accessories. Also, I did see that Tethrd came out with a new saddle called the Lockdown, and I hear the comfort is comparable to the Cruzr XC. So I'm very interested in the saddle, and I might have it in my hands in the near future. So anyways, if you guys do have any questions, please feel free to ask. But if you haven't yet, please hit that like and subscribe button. I'll probably be posting more videos about my saddle setup in more details, so make sure you follow along. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and good luck hunting out there.